It was good, everybody. I'm Isaac Lee, and we back to cover another Marvel property, What If. So let's get straight into it. So when it first comes on, you get this whole monologue with the Watcher, and he's talking about how the flow of timeline typically goes, and how, you know, his whole job is just to watch. He's never going to interfere or anything like that. But he takes us into this alternate dimension where Steve Rogers doesn't become Captain America, and instead we get Peggy Carter becoming Captain Carter, or I don't know if she goes by any other name, but that's what she's known for in the show, Captain Carter. So in the first episode, you know, it's funny how, you know, it takes place back in 1940s, World War II, and the significant detail that the Watcher was talking about when he says just little insignificant like decisions that we wouldn't think twice about is kind of what makes a whole new timeline. Is that there's a scene in there where they're telling her, oh, wouldn't you be more comfortable, you know, back in the office, you know, away from all this work? And the fact that she just decided to say, no, I'm comfortable just being right here, that is what split off into a whole new timeline. And I'm not gonna go frame by frame, but it's interesting to see all the the differences. Like, first and foremost, Steve Rogers doesn't become Captain America. You know, he ends up getting shot, but then they still need someone to take the serum because this is a one-shot deal. Otherwise, the whole thing is gonna be, you know, blown away and stuff like that, because they got explosions and everything going off. So you see Peggy Carter jump in, and it becomes a success. You know, she becomes, you know, this super soldier. Of course, there's gonna be a whole bunch of backlash to it, feeling like, you know, what she did was wrong, and they were looking for a super soldier, but now they just got a girl. And like, so there's definitely a little bit of female empowerment into it. So it's interesting to see the roles kind of reversed to where she's the hero, and now she's promising Steve Rogers to dance, you know. So there's that. There's also the train scene I really liked. I like the train scene and how, you know, they're all jumping on top of the train, and you see Bucky slip off, and that's typically where, you know, he kind of like falls to his death. But as he was slipping off, you see Peggy catch him, and then when she brings him back up on top of the train, he says, oh wow, you almost ripped my arm off there. That was funny. Another thing, when she first got the super soldier serum, Rogers was making a mention that, you know, it could be worse. They could have just put you in a costume, put you on the USO tour, just had you smile all the time. And she was like, wait a minute, they would have you do that? I just love like all these little like these alternate scenes once everything is like flipped the other way. But even with the Iron Man suit, so here's the thing about that, we end up getting that that classic, you know, I guess you would call it like a Mach 1 of the Iron Man suit, the suit that we really saw Tony Stark put together when he was being kidnapped, you know, in the first Iron Man movie. But that suit actually ends up getting built for Steve Rogers from his father, Howard Stark. So when I saw that, I was like, oh, okay, so that's where the suit comes from and things like that. Okay. But I kept looking at the fact that it says C-15. I'm not big into the comics, so I don't know if that was like a nod to anything. I don't know if that's a nod to something in the comics or things like that. But I just kept looking at that C-15 that was on the Iron Man suit, and the fact that they kept calling it the Hydra Stomper. So it was that. It was the whole thing about like that final battle where you see like Peggy Carter having to fight off with this whole tentacle creature. And I did have to look this up before I even like started this video. That tentacle creature may have been Shuma Gorath. The only reason I'm even familiar with that name is because I'm sure I've seen that character in like a Marvel vs. Capcom 2 or something like that. Like, I'm sure I've seen that character before. So I did have to look that up to be like, well, wait a minute, who could that character really be? And then there's also rumors that this is going to be the same character that's going to be in Doctor Strange, you know, the Multiverse of Madness. So I'm like, okay, that's cool. I like to see how they're really like putting that stuff together, which we've already seen before with Black Widow and the Falcon and Winter Soldier, you know, with the Christina Valentina, the way they kind of like blended that together with the black with all that. But I really liked it. I actually I watched it a couple times. Typically I just watch something and I just move on, but this one I really want to watch it again. I figured that there was like a few more details in it, and I'm really interested to see how many episodes, what do they really do with this. I wanted to see what the end result is, because, you know, the Watcher's always talking about how I'm never gonna interfere. I feel like something's gonna make even the Watcher break that rule. He's been around for eons, but I feel like something significant is gonna happen that's gonna make him finally interfere, and I'm really interested to see what that could possibly be. And I'm also interested to see, I'm like, because clearly this is gonna have some elements that may connect to, you know, Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, but will it connect connect to anything else. So I'm really interested to see that. Trying to think, was there anything else? You know, you had the whole, of course, the whole relationship between Peggy Carter and Steve Rogers. You know, Howard Stark, he's funny. Like, there was a scene between Peggy and Steve Rogers where they're being romantic, and then all of a sudden Tony Stark just pops up in the window and be like, "Oh no, don't mind me," and then you just get that closeout effect, like it's a Looney Tunes cartoon. I never really gave much thought into, you know, Peggy Carter's is the Captain America or the Captain Britain or whatever. But I really like this episode. I'm really interested to see what else they come up with. I really like the animation. I didn't really have a problem with that. But at the end of the day, those are just my thoughts. But what are yours? And if you like what I had to offer, hit that like and subscribe at the bottom. I'm Isaac Lee. This is The Rundown.